you learned from Lenore and also what you developed yourself as a leader in a man's world.
Well, with Lenore, she just basically said, Gillian, it's yours. Now, I had watched her, and she definitely was a true leader in the community and so on. And I'm sure I learned from watching her over the years. She was actually an amazing lady. She had rheumatoid arthritis, and I heard it said that her husband had to get her into a warm bath so she could loosen up enough to come to work. And she used to go down the stairs, like the original building was this rabbit warren of space, and it was all connected by a walkway, do you remember, that went to the dance room and went through the hand building pottery room. And she used to go backwards down those stairs holding onto the railing, and you'd offer help. Oh, no. She was a real dynamic, spirited person.
That's what I always heard, that she was pretty fierce.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You didn't cross Mrs. Bates.
Well, I think when I came on, obviously getting the job was a dream come true, because I had moved to BC from Ontario just maybe a few years previous, and I was working an administrative job, and then of course I had my daughter, and I was on maternity leave. And the story I have that's sort of kismet, in my opinion, is that I had been taking the bus to work, and I would always go by Place des Arts, and I thought, I wonder what is in that building. It looks so intriguing, and I want to go in there. And I never did. But while I was on maternity leave, I was considering not going back full time. I wanted to work part time. And that day, when I was thinking this, I opened up the local paper and I saw the ad for the part-time programmer. And you had told me later that that ad was only in one day.
Yes.
And I had never looked at the local paper before. Like I usually just like skimmed through it and then threw it out, but I happened to look at the classifieds and saw this position, and so I applied for it. And the fact that it was only in there one day and I just happened to look at it, I just think that
was
it was meant to be.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think what I learned from you is that your thoughtfulness as a leader. You know, Gillian was always in the building. Like you'd come in, there was Gillian working, like just your long hours of work, never complained. Your door was always open. If you had an idea, Gillian was always open to receiving it. And she'd say, well, let's do a budget. You were all about the numbers. She always knew exactly how many students we had. So I really learned about, you know, the responsibility of working in the arts to make sure that you were operating in a very professional manner. And I really learned that from you. It wasn't about, you know, the artist. Yes, we had the artistry and creativity, but underlying that, you needed to be disciplined, and you needed to know exactly what the number, even more so than anyone else, because of the perception that people have about the arts world, that, you know, we're just a bunch of
flighty.
Flighty, that's the word I'm looking for. So I really learned that from you, and there was no job that was above you. If there was something to be done, like digging up a plant, you'd see Gillian walking through the building with a trowel. She'd be digging away.
Well, jack of all trades.
Yes.
In those days. Now,
yes.
Today you need all your paperwork, and I never really put together a degree on paper, although I certainly put together a degree in learning other ways. But
and so you were very much a mentor to me, because you were, like you said earlier, you loved bringing out the best in people, and I think that is very much a value of mine as well. The thoughtful approach that you took. I learned a lot from how you took a big problem, a complex problem, and sort of calmly broke it down into bite-sized pieces, and you always considered people's feelings, and you always consider the other side. And so I learned a lot from you how to manage conflict, because here, you're dealing with so many people, and on a daily basis, there are things that come up, and there's no blanket approach to how you deal with an issue, because there's just so many different factors here at Place des Arts, and so many different stakeholders, and you really taught me that, so I'm very thankful for that.
Well, it's funny that you say that about taking a big puzzle and breaking it down. My first career was in nursing. I did well in nursing, but it was never my calling. But the one thing I learned was looking at your workload for the day, deciding what had to be done, what might be done, and what would be really nice to do, and making sure you got the head to-dos done, and then moving on to the others as time. And I learned so many life skills from nursing.
Well, and it wasn't till maybe 5 or 6 years ago that I really understood how much my background in dance transferred to a leadership role. And I always had a sort of an inferiority complex because I don't have a business degree, but I sure learned a lot about, discipline and, just staying the course, working until you get it right. And also, breaking down finding creative solutions to complex problems. And I realized, I learned that from the age of 5,
You're pointing out one of the things I said earlier about the value of the arts and what you learn. I mean, you didn't make a career of dance in the end. You went a long way through, but you learned so much.